my dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. I haven't done a very good trope recommendation video in quite some time, so it's high time that I do one. I've been reading a lot of cozy, forced proximity kinds of romances lately, and I am in the mood to talk about them. The trope recommendation for today is going to be neighbor romances, and I've got one in mind that kind of gave me the idea for this video. But I want to do just a slight detour to let you know what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, I don't know, I've been posting so weirdly the last couple of months, but soon I'm also going to do a roommates romances trope recommendation video because I have quite a few of those lined up as well. So let's get back into the neighbor romances. The book that really inspired this video is If It Makes You Happy by Julia Livia. This book has been trending everywhere because it has the most gorgeous cover for fall vibes, and everyone has been hyping it up because it really deserves the hype. I mean, this book gives you all the right feels for coziness, for the right kind of banter, for just longing, and for all the good vibes for fall. And the book centers on our heroine who is having a tough go at it because she just lost her mom and she needs to go back to her small town where her dad is struggling, and her mom had a B&B, and it's her sister who is going to be inheriting it, but because her sister is still in college, she steps up to the plate to take care of the B&B while her sister is still in college. So she kind of is sacrificing herself here. She is definitely the kind of caretaking kind of person in their family. She wants everyone to be well. She's thinking of everyone, but kind of neglects herself in the process. And this is where our hero comes in because she gets there, and you know, these kinds of people who are always taking care of other people, they're really control freaks, right? They don't like asking for help and they want to do everything on their own. And this is where our hero comes in because he does see that she's struggling a bit with keeping up with the B&B because she wants it to grow, she wants it to do well for her sister and for their family. And he is the neighbor next door. He's a single dad of 2, and he also is the small town baker. Everyone knows him. He's helping everybody out. He's the most likable kind of a guy. So he's kind of the golden retriever, sunshiny character in this story, while she is the more reserved. She's not really a black cat, but she's more so like a reluctant heroine. And she really hits it off with him when it comes to, first of all, a friendship maybe, and then they grow into really liking each other and also heading towards the romance category as well. And there's just so much goodness, and just the small town vibes are vibing in this one, and it's just a gorgeous story. I really loved it, and I would definitely recommend it as a neighbor romance. The next one is another favorite of mine. It's the last book within the Windy City series by Listam 40. It's Rewinded Back. It's Rio's story. Everyone loves Rio. Whoever started this series loves the found family aspect within it, and one of the people who really is at the heart of this found family aspect is Rio, and his story is the last story within the series, and he is getting his happily ever after, his second chance at romance with his high school love. They used to be in a committed relationship. They used to be neighbors when they were young, and they broke up for very specific reasons, and they haven't seen each other for quite some time. But now she moves into his kind of neighborhood, so they're neighbors, and he is kind of contemplating on what he's going to be doing with his house because he doesn't know whether he's going to stay in the city or whether he's going to be signed to a different club because he is into hockey. And he essentially is like, maybe if I have to move, I need to sell this house. I really need to design it because I don't have any kind of very good furniture to kind of make it attractive to sell. And she's an interior designer, and she gets hired to redo his house. So they have a second chance at a romance. They are neighbors in the past, they're neighbors in the present, and I really love their story. I would definitely recommend it. The next one is a recent read of mine. It's another fall vibes kind of a book. This one is called The Good Girls of Maple Lane by Jacqueline Firkins. It centers on a heroine who lives in this apartment building, and she kind of doesn't know anyone in this apartment building. She is observing everyone and has given everyone names in the apartment building, but doesn't really have any connection to any of them. She doesn't talk to them, and she is kind of struggling with her studies when it comes to the financial aspect more so, and she is kind of lonely where she lives as well. She doesn't really have a lot of friends. And some time back, she had filled in some kind of an application to like foster an animal if she was the right fit for it. And she gets a call to potentially adopt this golden retriever who has been through it. It's been a very rough go for this golden retriever, and she's like, I don't know if I can take care of this animal, but I cannot leave her there as well because otherwise they're going to put her down. And she decides to adopt this dog, but the dog is overweight, so she needs help getting the dog from the shelter to her house, and she decides to enlist the help of her neighbor. And this is how their story starts. Essentially, he helps her out with getting the dog fit as well, and also he helps her out with some social media things because he's into this business. And I don't know, it's just a very cozy and cute kind of a romance, and the story has a very central topic for the dog, and I really love that because it gives you all the feels about how the two girls, so the lab and her owner, how they get close as well, how she wins her trust over. And it's such a cute story. I really liked it, and I would definitely recommend it. Now the next one has a completely different vibe. It's Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This one is more so an enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers kind of a situation, so there's a lot of banter in this one. I really love the heck out of this story. The book centers on a hero and heroine who used to study at the same university. They studied the same thing, so they've always been kind of in the same field and kind of struggling to get the same positions, and they lived in the same town, so they've kind of been rivals since the start of their relationship. And then at a certain point, he got engaged, he moved away, so she didn't see him at all. But then he moves back, and he's her direct neighbor. And he starts working at the same school as she does. And she's like, what happened? You were engaged, you were supposed to get married. Turns out that he broke off the engagement, and now he's living in her small town as her neighbor. There's so many great shenanigans in this story when it comes to the neighborly aspect between the two of them, and just how their story grows into, you know, from bickering to actually wanting to be around each other to actually growing close. I really love this kind of a story. I love the push and pull between them and also the humor within the book. I would definitely recommend this one. Now, when I think about neighbor romances, I think that small town romances lend themselves so well to the neighbor romance trope. And the next one embodies that exactly. It's Savor It by Tara DeWitt. We've got a hero who just recently lost his sister, and now he is the guardian for his sister's teenage daughter. And the two of them, they decide to move from New York to this small town, I think in California, if I'm not mistaken. And they move there over the summer, and the romance is between himself and his neighbor. And she is such a sunshiny character. She is like the small town darling, if you will, and he is more so the recluse, more kind of reserved kind of a character, and he's struggling with building a relationship with his niece. He's struggling also with his career because he's a professional chef, and he kind of got not really fired, but he got reprimanded at his previous job, that he needs to do better, that he needs to kind of reinvent himself. So he has a lot of issues to work through, and he is just not in the market for thinking about a romantic relationship. But the heroine in this book, she kind of takes him by surprise. She is like this cotton candy storm that comes into his life. She's so sweet. She's so kind of infectiously helpful when it comes to whatever he needs. And I don't know, it was just filled with banter, sweet moments, and all the small town vibes that you would want, and I would definitely recommend this one as well. Now, the next one is part of another favorite series of mine. It's Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder, and this one centers on one of the Fox brothers who is a single dad. He's a widower, and he has two small girls that are so precious. And he has a romance with someone from his past, someone with whom he had a very bad relationship. They kind of got off on the wrong footing in the past, and now she comes back into town. She is his neighbor, and he kind of hates it. He hates that he has to have any kind of forced proximity with her because he has certain kinds of impressions about her, and he doesn't really know her backstory, so he has a lot of preconceived notions about her. And slowly but surely, because he is curious about her, he starts finding out that she is not who he thought that she is, and he's definitely attracted to her. I mean, she's a bombshell. When you see the cover, I mean, she is really gorgeous. So yeah, the two of them, they kind of get off being kind of more so enemies in the beginning, but they start working together towards something because it's a romantic suspense book as well. And then their scorching heat cannot be tamed. So the two of them also grow into having a romantic relationship as well. So I really, really loved this one. I would also definitely recommend it. Next up, we've got Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. This is part of her Twisted series. It's the last book. It's Christian and Stella. The two of them are so polar opposite of one another. He's like this tech security billionaire kind of a guy who owns the building, and she is down on her luck when it comes to certain things in her life. She has a very difficult life with her family, with her parents, and she needs somewhere to live, and he offers her and a friend of hers this place to live where it's kind of dirt cheap while it's like the most hot building in like the city. And we slowly but surely find out that Christian just has a soft spot for her, while he's the most grumpy and kind of a antisocial person that you can imagine. She's the one who is breaking down all of his walls. And then we find out that Stella actually has a stalker because she is an influencer, and he cannot have that. He is this security billionaire who just wants to have her safe at all times. So he actually offers for her to live in his apartment. So they also become roommates. So this is kind of a crossover trope here. So yeah, this one has all the goodness. I mean, a reluctant hero who gets all of his walls bulldozed over by this amazing heroine. She has a great backstory. He has a great backstory. So I would definitely recommend this one as well. The next book I'm going to recommend is Honor by Danielle Baker. This is a standalone part of a series, a book, the third book, that focuses on some firefighters who are hotshots, so like wildfire firefighters. And this one focuses on the guy who lost his father to a wildfire, who used to be the chief, and now he has taken over that role. So he feels responsible for everyone in his life. And then he is also the neighbor to one of his crewmates' sister. And she is a widow. She has two children and one on the way, and he feels very kind of also responsible for her. He wants to help her out. He's there every single day whenever he is not on the job, trying to help her out. And she feels kind of like her life has fallen apart because she lost her husband, and she doesn't really feel like she's in the place to be with someone else. So both of them have certain kinds of kind of like a reserved attitude towards one another, but at the same time they do feel an attraction towards one another, and they kind of grow to love each other for certain reasons. She loves him for all the things that he does for her, and he loves her. He actually loves her for quite some time. We find out in the book. It's just one that has a good balance of emotional backstory actually for both of them, and some good forced proximity because he is her neighbor. I really enjoyed this one. I would definitely recommend it. And then we've got a different kind of a neighbor romance, because the hero and heroine in this one are neighbors because their businesses are next to each other. This one is Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. The hero in this one is he has this gym in the small town, while the heroine moves to the small town and she opens up this coffee bakery kind of a shop next door. And he hates her at the start of the book. They start off being enemies, but then he sees how hard she works. He sees how much she has put into the business that she has, and he starts to get to know her in a different light. He's a bit of like the quiet, more reserved kind of a person. She is more talkative, and the two of them start to build a relationship that he didn't really expect, to be quite honest. And I really loved how gradually their relationship progressed. And yeah, this one is a bit of a different one because you see a different kind of vibe, because he kind of wanted to get her out of town at the start of the book when he found out that she's going to have a business next to his. But then the story progresses into something completely different, which I really loved. The last book I'm going to mention is one that I've read a long time ago, but it's one that I would definitely recommend if you haven't read it, because Emma Scott is quite a popular romance author and she has a very extensive backlist. And this one is definitely one that is very emotional and is definitely worth it if you like these kinds of romances where you have more so an emotional impact within the book. This one is called Forever Right Now. It centers on our heroine Darlene, who had a very troublesome past. She actually was in prison. She came out of prison. I think she used to live in New York and then she moved to San Francisco, and she wants to just start over. She wants to build a life for herself. She's a dancer. She wants to make it with her dream. And she is the neighbor to this single dad who has this small, I think it's a baby or a toddler, and he is in law school. He's trying to make ends meet and pass the bar exam successfully so he can become a lawyer, but he is having a difficult time, and she is the one who notices that he needs help, so she offers to help him out. And it's such an endearing and emotional kind of a romance. I really, really love the relationship that they build and how both of them have a difficult past and kind of work together towards a more positive future. And yeah, Emma Scott is a very talented romance writer. I would definitely recommend this one if you haven't picked up anything by this author yet. All right, my dear friends, these were all the neighbor romances that I have for you today. If you have any that you want to recommend to me, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care and bye-bye.